Good morning, lovelies. Hope everyone's doing okay. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of June. 22nd? 23rd of June, even. Time's flying. Apologies for the noise outside. The work is still going on at my neighbour's house, so you can possibly hear some... sounds like I've got some kind of rotary saw going on, but hopefully that won't be too distracting. Thank you to everyone for your comments on yesterday's video. I've got a few comments to go through. Now, they go from the very serious to the not at all serious. So apologies that there's going to be kind of a bit of a grinding gear change as we go from a very sensible subject to something that is less serious. But thank you to everyone. So I'm going to start with a comment from Ginny. Now, I spoke yesterday about the terrorist attack at the weekend, and when I was talking about it in the morning, I don't think the names of the victims had been released and there wasn't a huge amount of information. But Ginny said she lives in the city that this happened, and it was actually an attack against gay men. And as she said, during Pride Month, that's even more heinous. But it's fairly heinous whenever it happens. You know, I think we're all there. And it just staggers me that we find so many ways to hate each other. Just bizarre. Human beings can be the worst, but they can also be the best. It's what we are, I guess. But thank you for giving me more info on that, Ginny. And I hope you're doing okay and everyone in Reading is doing okay, because that's just horrendous to go through. I said this will be kind of weird. Moving on from bad things to better things. So Sally Papercraft said a shout out to people who sew. There's an organisation called Beads of Courage. It's not a name I'd heard of. I've just had a quick look online, and it's supporting children going through cancer treatment and their families. And I think the basic principle is they give children a bead with every treatment, and they collect these beads as they go through the course of their treatment. And sewers are being encouraged to make bags in which to hold these beads. So I've put links for the UK and for the general organisation in the notes below. So if you're interested, I'm sure they'd be very grateful for your help. Now, talking of grateful for your help, I had a message from Susan. She was commenting on the fleece that I'd bought yesterday, saying, is that the stuff that I would use for dryer balls? Well, I don't have a dryer and I don't know anything about dryer balls, but I'm sure that you lovely folks do. So if you've made dryer balls, I would love to hear what they're made from, so I can pass that information on to Susan. So thank you all for that. I said we would go from the serious to the not serious. That's life, I guess. It's the mixture of life and what we're at. Thank you to everyone who enjoyed my drive to see my dad at the weekend. There were lots of mentions of castles. Technically, I didn't show you any castles, but I can see what you mean. There were a couple of places where there were sort of towers with a road through the towers. I went through one of them, and another one you saw off to my right. They're not actually castles. I think they were part of the original fortifications. These are two very ancient towns. So I think they're just part of the original fortification. So rather than being a castle as such, they would have been the gateway into the town at that point. So, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes, I am very lucky that I live in quite a picturesque part of the country. Much of the UK is picturesque and beautiful. Much of the world is. But this is a kind of rolling gentle hills kind of place, and sunshine really helps. If it had been pouring down with rain and grey and miserable, would have been a completely different journey. So the good weather really helped on that. Today, Tuesday, I've got a ceremony again and some phone calls to do, so another sort of principally a work day. But I hope you're all doing okay and keeping well. Thanks everyone, I will catch up with you later. Hello lovelies, hope you're all okay. Ceremony went well, if long. Family contributions were longer than expected. We slightly overran, only by a minute or two, because I was kind of editing on the hoof, so that's what we do. And today is, in the UK, the last of the daily briefings from Downing Street, because from the 4th of July, assuming no increase in the numbers with COVID, things are starting to open up. There will be the opportunity to open hairdressers. There will be social distancing is reducing to 1 metre from 2 from that date. Hotels, restaurants, cafes can open, providing they can be, the phrase that's coming out a lot is COVID secure. So we shall see what happens. And yes, I've been thinking about how long I should be doing this vlog for, because initially it was whilst we were locked down. And I think I went into it with the assumption that we'd be locked down and then one day we'd be released and everything would be back to normal. Well, of course, that's not what's happening. But you don't necessarily want to put it on me every day forever. So I think we'll probably go with the day I can have a haircut will be my last day of the daily vlog. Who knows when that will be, because I don't know when I'll get an appointment, but we shall see. So yeah, that's kind of where we are in the UK. When I say those dates, that's in England. The devolved administrations set their own rules, so Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, slightly different, but that's the ruling in England. So that's where we are. The idea of the 1 metre, they're calling it 1 metre plus, and the plus is mitigation, so face coverings where appropriate. Not a good idea if you're in a restaurant, I would think. Yeah, that's just not practical. Not facing someone when you're talking to them if you don't have a mask, those sorts of things. So we'll see. I mean, this is going to be a bit of an up and down ride for a while, I feel. But we shall see how things go, as the rest of the world is doing. You know, a report in Germany of a high number of cases at one factory, which then is causing a localised problem. Yeah, so we'll see how we go with that. But certainly we've got another week of this, 10 days actually. Yeah, so that's next weekend that it will start to change. And we'll see how we go from there. We still live in interesting times. That phrase is still a curse in some cultures. Anyway, that's me for today. Thank you again for all the comments, observations, thoughts, questions. You know I love to hear from you and it's really appreciated. Keep well, keep safe, whatever the rules and the easings and the lockdowns are doing with you. Keep safe, look after yourselves, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.